If I wanted to double my coaching business in 2026, this is exactly what I would do. Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Business. I am so excited to be with you here today and support you to grow and scale your coaching business the simple, sustainable way to those 30K months and beyond. So today I'm going to be giving you some real hard truths. Like if you are ambitious, committed, obsessed with what you do and you're ready to go all in, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly what I'd be focusing on so that you can create incredible results. Because here's the thing, this starts with you actually really wanting it and deciding that you are going to do whatever it takes to get there. If you are starting the foundation of 2026 not in that energy or not doing what you can to get in that energy, you are already setting yourself up for a difficult time achieving big and above average results, because the reality is that most people never reach these results, but it's also because most people are not willing to do what is required to actually get there. So if you are an above average player in business, this is going to be perfect for you. So welcome to this episode, and this is truly going to be supportive for you no matter when you're watching this. To be honest, if you ever need some motivation, little pick me up, some clarity, some direction, this episode is for you. So I'm going to share with what I would personally do if I wanted to double my business, and this context obviously going to depend on where you're at and you know, all of the things, but you know, significantly increase your business. So I think the best place to start when it comes to something like this would be to do a full audit of your entire business model. So that is what I would personally do, and that is what I am in the process of doing myself. So if I wanted to get, you know, massive momentum and leaps and bounds in my business, I would start by auditing my entire business model, because it's pretty difficult to make a plan to get, you know, all of these different results and all of the things if you don't first know where you're at, what's working, what's not, auditing the data and actually looking at what areas of the business could be significantly improved to get a significantly better result. Because if you're wanting to double your business, right, then what got you here won't get you there. You're going to have to improve things, and you know, the systems that got you to this level won't get you to the next level. This is why people say as they scale, things that once worked no longer did, because they outgrow things. And that's essentially what you're wanting to do here, both strategically and energetically, if you're wanting to double your business. So before trying to just simply grow, you know, it's not about doing more, it's actually going to be about doing better. So we need to do a business audit, and that's going to look like taking a step back to take many steps forward. So let's look at what is already working. Whenever I'm doing a business audit or an evaluation, we want to start with the positive. What is working? What is good here? Because the last thing we'd want to do is change something that's working or break something that doesn't need to be broken. So we always start with what is currently working. Then we want to ask another question of what is currently not working, like what isn't working, what isn't going well here. And then from there, we're going to be able to get clear on, well, what do we need to do differently to get a different or better result? So what's working, what's not, and what do I need to do differently? That is the first audit, is simply asking those three questions. I actually take my clients through a really deep business audit experience. It goes for like an hour and a half, where we literally unpack every link, every email, every process, every DM template. There is a full thing. We will audit the full thing, and it's super powerful. They have a checklist to follow. It's in a beautiful document, and I've guided them through that whole process. And I really recommend doing that when people are wanting to shift things up in a more spacious, sustainable, and scalable way. If they've currently got a business model that creates burnout, exhaustion, misalignment constantly, right? Of course, we might have little feelings of that, but if it's constantly or more often than not, we want to change that, and we got to audit, well, where is it going wrong to begin with? Okay, so it's a full process, but that is what I would do as point number one here, is I would audit the entire business model. Because doubling requires a business model that is simple and sustainable and scalable. Otherwise, I mean, good luck getting to your goal. So ask yourself, can my business model hold higher income without taking on more from me? That is a really important question when it comes to auditing your business as well, to see, you know, what might need to be tweaked to actually give you more capacity. Because if it's all on you, it's going to be difficult to double. If you couldn't handle double the workload, well, then we need to create some systems and structures and processes that don't require you to then do that. Number two is I would strengthen my lead flow, both the quality and the quantity. Often, more leads can solve a lot of problems. A lot of the time what I'm seeing is clients or potential clients simply do not have enough leads or high enough quality leads, and that's going to come down to what they're doing and the way they are doing it. But if you can adopt a strategy, whether that's paid ads, collaboration, or really nailing your organic marketing, or a combination of 2 or 3 of those things, then what that's going to allow you to do is actually bring in more leads. If you are simply waiting on referrals, word of mouth, hoping someone finds your Instagram account, hoping someone messages you, there's a lot of hoping in your business strategy, and that's not really a good strategy if you ask me. So we want to strengthen your lead flow so that you have a way for leads to find you and come to you every single day. I do organic marketing, collaboration marketing, and paid marketing. I do organic marketing every single day, but I also do paid advertising every day, which means whether I'm asleep, whether I'm recording this video, or whether I'm working on my computer, I have leads coming into my space and going down my funnel without me constantly needing to be on. It's also why we need to audit our business to make sure the things that our potential clients are going through actually work and actually do a really good job. Otherwise, especially if you paid for those leads, it's a complete waste. So we want to strengthen your lead flow. If you do not have a way to generate new high quality leads and a large amount of them every single day, you are already going to struggle to double your business. So we need to fix your lead flow. So what would happen, or what would need to happen for your lead flow to actually double this year? Because that's going to tell you where you need to think bigger and differently. Asking different and better questions gets you better answers and solutions. So what would it look like to double your lead flow currently? Number 3 is I would optimize my sales process, because at the end of the day, once we have gotten to the effort of getting people to that point where we're actually having a sales conversation with them or telling, potential clients about our offer, we want to make sure that is as dialed in as possible so that we convert majority of those people, or, have a healthy conversion rate, should I say, is probably more accurate, and so that we don't miss opportunities that we could have closed. So we want to make sure that this is dialed in, especially if you're paying for ads. You are paying to get people to that point, and if you do not nail that, you are literally, quite literally, pouring money down the drain. Now, we're not going to close everyone, so it's not about closing everyone. If you are actually closing everyone, my guess is that either your business is incredibly small, you're way too picky that you're actually leaving money on the table, or you don't have a scalable business model because it's all word of mouth leads. So yes, they're higher quality, but it also means that there's a lot fewer of them. We're not going to convert everyone because we're not for everyone and not everyone's for us, right? But we do want to make sure that we are converting the people that we could and should close, okay? So we want to optimize that sales process from looking at what are the questions people answer when they book a call? What does that page go to when they've confirmed their call that's going to give them, resources or their clear next steps? What are the nurture emails look like that they receive once they've booked a call with you? What do the reminder emails look like? What are you actually saying and doing on the call? What's the follow-up process looking like after you've had the call? All of these things really, really matter, and we want to optimize it to nail it. So I want to ask yourself, is your sales process predictable or is it sporadic? Like, do you actually have a process or are you winging it? If you're winging it, my guess is that it's pretty hit and miss whether you actually close someone or you, could be having a lot more people in your sales pipeline than you currently actually have. Number 4 is I would delegate more to create space for revenue work, so money making, generating activities. Delegating and outsourcing is really scary. It's really uncomfortable. It's a big responsibility, but it's also a big responsibility to try and double your business and actually do all of that alone, because what's the point of doubling your business if you also had to double your work to get there? Now, if you're right at the beginning and you're currently doing little to no work, well then you're probably not only going to need to double your work, but actually triple it temporarily. Like growing a business and scaling a business does require work, go figure, but that doesn't mean we need to do things that are unnecessary. So for example, let's say your goal is to get to 30K months. You shouldn't be doing $10 an hour tasks, $20 an hour tasks. That's not a good use of your time. You need to be setting yourself up in a position where you're focused on the highest revenue generating activities and you're delegating the rest. I have delegated my ads to someone, I've delegated my admin tasks to someone, I've delegated, my DM processing, partly, and I've even started to delegate some of my client delivery. And that is really scary, having all of those people to manage and look after and, put food on the table for them and all of the things, but it's also what has allowed me to scale to over 100K a month in my business. Like, there's no way I could do that all alone. Even in just the last hour, I think I've given my VA like 5 different tasks to do, the poor thing. Luckily, we have an awesome relationship, super close, and they're somewhat easy tasks, but nonetheless, it's like, I'd be really overwhelmed right now if I was having to film this and knew that there were 5 other things I needed to be doing right now. I love that there are important emails being sent out to certain people right now, and there's things happening in the back end that's actually moving towards me making more money without me being on. So that's that. Delegation will actually give you time, and that will make you more money if you use that time wisely. If you just delegate and then don't do anything, well, of course you can make money depending on what level you're at, but you could be making even more if you're also doing something in that time. So delegating is so good from an energetic level, but also a strategic level, financial level. Yes, you could look at it as a cost, but really it's an investment, just like hiring a business coach. It's an investment, not a cost, because it actually allows you to make more money because it saves you time, and time is money, especially when you're scaling to those 30K months and beyond. Now, the last thing that I want to share for today's episode is number 5, which is I would tighten my identity around being a higher level CEO. So if I wanted to double my business, I would have to double my capacity to hold more of both the good things and the bad things. It's nearly impossible to double our business if we don't upgrade our mindset, our thoughts, our beliefs, and the energetics that's going to support us to actually get there, okay? So we will not outgrow our current identity. So if you want to be making 30K a month, then it's important that you are operating like someone that is making 30K a month. They are not being a victim, complaining, dabbling, procrastinating, overthinking every move. They might have moments of it, I think we all do, but they're not living there, right? They're leaders, they're doers, they're action takers, they take self-responsibility, they trust themselves, they have massive amounts of confidence, and they've got a product that actually people want to buy. Right? So it's important that you have the identity to match what you want. And that's, that's uncomfortable. That's looking at yourself in the mirror. That's having the hard and uncomfortable conversations. That's realizing that you are probably your bottleneck and you are probably your biggest problem in your business. And that is uncomfortable. And, so it should be, because growth happens outside of your comfort zone. So if it really is that comfortable, you're probably not digging deep enough. So I would really be tightening up your identity to build that confidence and belief, because at the end of the day, our thoughts will create our feelings that we have in our body, and those feelings will create actions or inactions. So, based on how we feel, we will either do something or not do something, and obviously our actions or inactions will dictate the results that we get. So it all stems from our thoughts. So therefore, it's so important we have thoughts that align with the result we want. It's all well and good for you to want 30K a month, but if you don't believe that you are capable of creating it, well, it doesn't really matter how much you want it. You actually have to believe that it's an easy done deal thing. Okay, the easier you believe it is, the quicker and easier it is to actually get there. Whereas if you believe it's far, far away, it will remain far away. So that is probably the biggest thing. So just to summarize what I would be focused on if I wanted to double my business in 2026, what I would do is I would audit my entire business model to see where I'm at and what actually needs to be improved or tweaked, because we don't want to unnecessarily do things. I would also strengthen my lead flow so I have more high quality leads coming in, as that's going to solve a lot of problems and make all of the stuff that you do more worthwhile. Number 3 is I would optimize my sales process so the people that actually get that far, we actually convert them. And number 4 is I would delegate more to give you back your time and energy so that you can actually double your business. And number 5 is I would tighten up my identity around being a higher level CEO to reflect the monthly revenue or annual revenue that you want to bring into your business. They're the 5 things that I would personally do, but I want to let you hear from you. What are you going to do? What is the number 1 thing out of those 5 things that I shared today that you're going to prioritize to actually double your business? I would love to hear your goals. I would love to hear where you're at, and I would love to hear your biggest takeaway from today. So please come message me at Sophia Rose Bernardi on Instagram. I reply to every DM and I would love to connect with you. And if you would like my help to actually help you double your coaching business in 2026 or whatever year you're watching this in, then also book a call with the link below and we can have a quick and casual, no pressure chat to see if working together is the right fit for you and for me. All right, I love you all and I'll speak to you next week.